Hi, my name is Mayhemstar, and welcome back to Selene Apoptosis. And all this was begging for a rational explanation. That's why Ethan decided he should talk to Hope in the morning. Something changed. What? What TV program is this? Why is there TV? This isn't the flat screen. Devil is made of clay and tomato soup, just like any human being. What was that? Interview with the devil. Who are these people? And why is the TV so old? It's getting late, and then I come. She serves tomato soup. She used to serve more things, but not anymore. I'm in the tomato soup. They both eat tomato soup? That's how I get in. That's a weird sentence. They both eat tomato soup. That's how I get in. Into a person? Is this related to the sock puppets? Oh, what's this? Maintenance talk show interview with the devil. Can I use my mouse? Yes, I can. The Midnight TV. Hey, that's like Persona 4, the Midnight TV. What happens if I click on this? Oh, okay, we've seen this. Right. So let's exit from the TV program. Close this. Something changed. Did something change? January 11th. What? Where's the January 11th? Where'd it go? There was a date. Okay. There. The new school is okay. I wish I could make friends with someone though. Who's writing this? Is this related to the game, or is this related... No. Is this related to what's happening in the story? Or is this a second story now? Mom is working late again. It's fine, I've lifted a very heavy box when we moved in. Mom couldn't pick it up herself. I'm a big boy now, and big boys aren't afraid of anything. I'll just turn on the lights and watch TV with Timo and my friends. Oh, this is he, the protagonist. The unnamed protagonist. Only the cool stuff with animals or robots, or aliens, but not the creepy kind. Is it raining? Hey, you just closed off. I didn't even ask you to close. That's very interesting. Look at that. There's asterisks for when we left. It's like we jumped to a different universe, and the transcript just stopped for a second and you just couldn't understand what the hell happened, so it put asterisks. It's very weird. Very interesting. And it's gone now, the journal's gone. I can't access it again. Okay. Did you give anyone the apartment keys, by chance? What? Hope froze with a cup at her lips and blinked several times. Maybe you've let someone in. I didn't, no. What's with these questions? I feel like someone is visiting our place. What do you mean? Exactly what I said. It's been a while since I started noticing random things vanish, and yesterday Hope frowned. She looked at Ethan as if a toad had just popped out of his mouth. Yesterday you... what? I'm gonna say it bluntly, I believe Hope should know. I'm assuming she's our wife. She is our wife, right? Yes. Say it bluntly. I saw someone in our kitchen last night. Some girl. The deep line on Hope's forehead disappeared. She leaned back in a chair and laughed, throwing her head back. Oof, What a show you put on.
実はあなたのカップケーキをこっそりもらっちゃったの。
Okay, fine, I confess I did steal your cupcake. I mean, what am I supposed to do?
なんて最近全然会えてなかったから、甘いお菓子が夜のお楽しみって感じでね。
I barely see you lately, so sweet pastries are my best shot to get some fun at night.
っていうか、あのカップケーキのことまだ覚えてたのね。
Damn,
び
I...
っくりしたわ。
Oh, you're still going, sorry. Damn, I didn't realize you still remember that cupcake even existed.
冷蔵庫に3日くらい入ってたのに。
It was lying around in the fridge for, what, 3 days? Hope glanced at Ethan, expecting him to start laughing too, yet he still looked very serious. She noticed for the first time that the whites of his eyes were pinkish and full of broken capillaries. Her smile slowly faded. Come on, maybe you've left the keys unattended somewhere.
オフィスにいるときはいつも適当なところに鍵を置きっぱなしにしてたけど、盗むような人はいないと思うわ。
I always leave my keys when I'm in the office, but I'm pretty sure there are no cat burglars among my colleagues.
でも、確かにたくさんいたかもしれないわね。
Come think of it, we should have hired a bunch. Hired a bunch of what?
毎月持っている破産するリスクのバランスを取るだろう。
That balanced the risks of going broke we have on a monthly basis. I don't really understand what she meant by that. You sure none of your colleagues would play a joke on this?
騙す？
A joke?
ちょっと、一体どうしちゃったのよ、イーさん。
Good God, Ethan, you look like you're gonna eat me alive.
落ち着いて、そして信じて。
Take a bun instead, tastes better, trust me. Hope pulled her chair closer to Ethan and took his hand.
ね、仕事が終わったら休んで。
Please, hun, promise me you'll take a break after that project of yours is finished.
気がおかしくなるのは家族に一人で十分よ。
I mean, one psycho is enough for our family. Wait, who's the psycho? Me or you? You promise? Ethan suddenly felt like a total idiot. A tired, total idiot. A naked girl in their kitchen? Yeah, sure. He probably overworked to the point he started being delirious at times. Maybe even walked in his sleep. He squeezed Hope's fingers lightly. I promise. Sorry, I'm a moron. I probably stopped seeing the difference between dream and reality.
ローラに電話したらどう？
Why don't you call Laura? No, a shrink is the last thing I need right now. My bad. But sure, that'd be just too cruel. What I need is to finish this project. After that, all the gears in my head will fall into place, I give you my word.
そんなこと言わないで。
Don't be like that.
本格的な治療はいらないと思うけど、
I mean, there's no need to start full-fledged therapy anyway.
専門家に相談したら少しは楽になるかもしれないじゃない？
Sometimes talking through your worries with a professional is all it takes to feel better. At least I shouldn't have pressed you on it. I get that you have enough problems of your own right now. How's it going in your new position? Hope rested her head on his shoulder and shrugged.
まだクビになってないわよ。
Not fired yet, apparently.
まあ、まだ慣れてもいないけどね。
Seriously though, I haven't figured it out yet.
新しい仕事は面白いけど、本来求められてるより10倍遅く働いてるような気がするの。
Those new responsibilities are exciting, but I always feel like I'm 10 times slower than I should be.
だから月末には残業が多くなるかも。
I should probably get ready for a nice fat piece of overtime by the end of the month. Ethan kissed her forehead, closed his eyes, and squeezed the bridge of his nose. Well, I'm not a head of department as of yet, but I seem to have the same stuff on my plate. Just how do you manage not to pester me with stupid questions? Why would she pester you with stupid questions? Are you even working in the same place?
夜にはカップケーキを食べることにするわ。
Unless Hope is consulting in you and asking you questions. And the stupid questions are a result of her tiredness. Or her incapability, I don't know. What the hell is going on? Well, I eat cupcakes at night.
イーさんもそうしたら
You should give it a try. No, you shouldn't. You'll get fat. Hope poked Ethan's cheek a couple of times with a finger.
とにかく心配しないで
Anyway, don't worry.
鍵を誰にも渡したりしないから
I don't give my keys to anyone. And the only cat anything I've let inside was an actual stray cat. Uh-huh, you let in a cat. That explains a lot, because it could be the same cat that we're both thinking about, yeah? Selene.
まあずっと二人でやってきたから
Now that I think of it, it's actually been ages since we've had any company.
もしかしたら
Maybe we should... cat? What cat? Hope sighed and pulled away.
とにかく働きすぎたり考えすぎたりしないでね
Please don't get all worked up, okay?
少なくとも私にはいつでも何でも話して
At least I'm being open with you.
心配しないで猫はいないわ
Don't worry, she didn't wander around. Hope, we've talked over this already.
どういう意味
We've talked over what?
何かまずいことでも言ったかしら
The fact that what I want doesn't really matter? Damn it, Hope, this is my apartment, and
今から一人でしょ
and you're staying here alone now. Are you leaving? Hope finished her tea in a couple of gulps.
行ってくるわ
I have to go to the office. She stopped at the door, not turning around.
あの猫かわいそうだったな
Sorry about the cat.
あんなに痩せてたし
She was really skinny and I felt sorry for her.
私もかわいそうだけど寂しいな
I also feel sorry for myself, Ethan, because I'm lonely.
本当に
Really lonely. This time, Ethan felt angry. Felt like an angry idiot. He got up from the table and reached for Hope. Hope,
いいよ
don't.
泣きそうだから
I will start crying.
もう本当に時間がないから行かなきゃ
It'll take time and I don't have any time, and I don't have any to spare right now.
後でね
See you tonight. So what I'm assuming has happened is that this Ethan character has gone ahead and was like, I'm gonna spend all my time on my work and I've completely neglected my own relationship. And so this Hope, the wife I'm assuming, has decided to bring in the cat, and we both know who that cat is. So she's angry and mad, and everyone's now angry and mad. So turns out that whatever this work is, this search for Selene and the project from our main protagonist, is actually ruining a lot of relationships and people. Don't accept emails. See you tonight. He didn't know what else to say, so he followed Hope into the hall like a silent shadow. He thought the right words would come to him, but the entrance door closed and he remained silent. Ethan sighed. He regretted his decision to talk about the night episode. He regretted how the talk turned out. He felt sorry for himself. Out of pity yourself, you're being honest. Although it is kind of weird, I do feel like Hope didn't say anything about her own situation until now and then just stormed off. Then again, what do I know about relationships? And for Hope. After all, Ethan was well aware that he really didn't spend enough time with her. Yeah, I already made that conclusion. At first because of the agency project, now because of the question to which he still cannot find an answer. It was time to end this. He's going to make some coffee, then he'll open the laptop and write up some answer. It won't be an accurate one, but it's really time to finish that work marathon. After all, he doesn't even get paid for his time. Ethan nodded to the closed door and turned around, ready to execute the plan. Ooh. And that's when he saw her. Just for a split second, but damn it, he saw her. A black-haired girl flashed in the doorway of one of the rooms. Not even flashed, but drifted, like a... Ethan's mouth went dry. Shadow. Of course there was no one in the room. This has gone too far. Ethan had gone too far, but he couldn't turn back, even though he was going to. He didn't make any coffee. He wanted to get rid of that question, get a good night's sleep, and forget about the whole thing. Forget about the shadow that danced in his kitchen. Forget about the pale silhouette that wandered through his apartment. Forget that At this very moment someone is looking at the back of his head, and that look makes his skin feel cold as the kitchen floor last night and the hairs one by one stood on end. Ethan clenched his teeth not with anger, but with some new emotion he couldn't name. Fear. Frustration. The blood hummed in his ears louder and louder. It will all be over after he writes the letter. It will be over. He opened his laptop, his hands were shaking a little, and he was putting his fingers over the keyboard when his cell phone rang. Ethan flinched. He stared blankly for a few seconds as the vibrating rectangle of glass and plastic crawled across the table. Don't. Do not answer. Don't do it. Suddenly he grabbed the phone and pushed the accept button. Ethan himself didn't know how that happened. He just did it. That's all. The phone pressed tight against his ear, and it said, "Hi, we're here to call about your extended warranty." He waited for a hoarse, gargling voice to call his name and tell him to look behind. Or what is supposed to happen in cases like this. Nani? Hope? Were you expecting someone else, you dolt? Okay, sorry, I'm super uneasy and I'm also talking nonsense. Yeah, I'm uneasy too. And that was completely true. Look, am I distracting you right now? You are, and I'm very happy about that. Go on, please. That's great. Look, it didn't come off well at breakfast, right? Yes. I'm sorry for being awful. No, I'm sorry. Both of us have had it hard now, so let's try not to fight, okay? Great idea. Why don't we go out tonight? Say, for groceries. Counts as going out if you ask me. I'll go crazy being cooped up like that. Oh, so that's what's driving me nuts. Should go out for zucchini more often. So, what do you say? Okay, we're going to buy all the zucchini tonight. Hope laughed. Ethan suddenly realized that the blood wasn't buzzing in his ears, no one was looking at the back of his head, and if he turned around, he would only see Hope's socks that he left on the chair again. Hope. I love you. I love you too, very much. See you tonight. After finishing the call, he turned around. The socks were resting peacefully on the chair, which meant everything was okay. He went back to the email, and only then noticed several new letters. 2 of them were from his counterpart. Ethan hesitated. He had already decided his course of action concerning the question, so there was no harm in taking a look. He wouldn't feel any guilt. After all, he had already done far more than he should have. Of course, he is a lifesaver for those wanting to sell books mentioning historical accuracy, but having no intention to pay for it properly. And so what? He doesn't have to do a perfect job for free. Well, he doesn't even work for free. That's what Ethan thought. Then he opened the 2 letters he got and changed his highly reasonable decision. His counterpart was asking how soon he would get an answer. So this happened after all. The tone was very polite and apologetic. He wasn't expecting anything, but he really needed the help of someone competent. According to the emails, he wasn't doing very well. The poor man had been suffering from insomnia for an insane amount of time, and it seems that he too began imagining things. It was as if Ethan saw himself from the outside. That's not a good thing. It's like a collective consciousness. Depressed club. You don't want to be part of that. He suddenly felt sorry for his acquaintance. Of course, he had begun to feel sorry for him earlier, but now Ethan felt a sharp, bitter pity. He realized that if he helps his acquaintance, he will help himself, but if he steps back now, what is the value of a specialist who is afraid of a little change? As Hope once said, the career ladder is made of thorn. Of course, he no longer worked in an office, but professional growth requires twice as much effort if you're self-employed. And besides, Ethan had hope. Hope, who never gives in so easily and forgets her socks on the chair. Hope, who loves him very much. Hope, who will go to the store with him tonight because being cooped up like that can drive one crazy. Interesting that crazy is italicized. This must be what was happening to his acquaintance right now. Ethan had to help him, not because of money but because he could, and because it was the right thing to do. They will both finish their projects, and then they will have a good rest. They might even go out for a glass of beer together. So Ethan thought, and got back to the question with a newfound strength. You are stupid! Stupid, don't do this! The pages of the books did not rustle in the far corner of the room. The shadows weren't wandering in the corridors. And certainly no one was looking at the back of his head until the evening. And in the evening, Hope came back. Hope looked up from her magazine and leaned over the armrest. You had a call from the agency. Ethan just got back from the shower. He froze in place, clutching the towel at his waist. Something cold stirred uncomfortably in his stomach. The project. He had completely forgotten about the agency project, and it had been more than 2 weeks. The deadline was very close. He started for the phone, but Hope just waved her hand lazily. Don't worry, I picked it up. What did she tell them? I told them you stopped eating, sleeping, and loving anything other than work, so they'll get their files all nice and shiny. Pretty accurate, huh? Yeah. Just don't pick up my phone again, okay? Hope shrugged. Sure. I mean, it was you who asked me to answer the calls in the first place. Yes, I know. When I was just starting work for them, it was important to let them see I was always in touch. Now that I've passed the probation period, there is no point in piling this on you any longer. Thank you for covering for me. No problem. If you're getting a call and I'm not too lazy to go pick it up, Anyway, if you're getting a call and I'm not too lazy to go pick it, I can keep watching your back. No, you really shouldn't. This project is complicated. I'd rather deal with it myself. Ethan sat rigid. He never considered himself a good liar, but Hope didn't seem to notice anything. She sighed, pretending to be upset, and rolled her eyes. Well now, guess I'm being fired from an unpaid secretary position without any honors or compensation. Capitalism sucks. Ethan leaned over, tucked a strand of blonde hair behind her ear, and looked into her eyes. His hand remained on Hope's cheek. Your help is very important to me. Hope's hand went over to his. She closed her eyes. I know. I couldn't have done it without you. What else is new? They kissed. Hope then pulled away. She looked pleased, a sly smile on her lips. Are we still going to the store? Is Hope gonna die? I'm not sure. They reached for each other again, but the phone gave a shrill ring. After the phone call this morning, Ethan turned the silent mode off. Oh well. My city needs me. Ethan briefly pressed his lips to her forehead. Hope sighed and slapped his ass. What? What? If God exists, he really wants us to buy some zucchini. I'll go and get dressed. The call was from the agency. They needed more details and dates. Ethan went out into the hallway and tried to make it sound as plausible as he could. Yes, he understands that the deadline is very close. No, there was no serious hitches in the work. Yes, he will send everything on time. When the call finally ended, Ethan's neck and face were flushed by this time. He was a lousy liar after all. Ethan had to catch his breath. When he returned to the room, Hope was reaching for his laptop. "What are you doing?" Hope glanced at him over the shoulder. This time she looked surprised.
クーポンをプリントしようかなって思って。
Nothing special really, just wanted to print out some discount coupons.
どうしたの?
What about it? Ethan left a bunch of files and tabs open. They had nothing to do with the agency project and he didn't want Hope to see them. After all, she did know enough about his projects to serve as a sort of secretary. About all the projects except for the one Ethan shouldn't have taken because it wasn't paid for. Maybe his fears were irrational. Maybe Hope wouldn't blame him. But Ethan felt ashamed and he didn't want to take any chances after what happened this morning. I have lots of unsaved files in there. Some important information might get lost. Can I print those coupons myself? Ethan felt the heat rise again in his cheek and necks. Hope stared at him for a few seconds. Ethan couldn't read the expression on her face, and that creeped him out. He was ready to hear the reproaches. He even agreed with them in his mind, but Hope simply walked away.
わかったわ。
Sure.
メールで送るね。
I'll send them to your email. Nice moon. They spent most of the way to the store in tense silence. A few times Ethan asked something just to make sure Hope was still talking to him. Hope was, though. The answers were dry and she never even attempted to make a joke. It's not that bad, Ethan told himself. It's not that bad at all if you repeat it again and again. You can buy a little time, but in the end, the anxiety will prevail. It always does. Ethan's mind quickly figured out the owner was trying to trick it and spat out the chewing gum. What? At that moment, Ethan got caught in an avalanche of thoughts he didn't want to deal with, and couldn't in his current state. Something had to be done. To be said. But what? Maybe he should actually do something after all. Ethan imagined touching Hope's fingers, and he immediately saw her pulling the hand back, her eyes glistening. How she opens her mouth to ask the question Ethan had no answers to. They'd have to talk, one way or another. Ethan didn't know where to start without burying himself even deeper. He had been thinking about it the whole way, but he never came up with anything. The huge supermarket was on the next block. A place they had long dubbed the store was bustling with life despite the rather late hour. As soon as they entered the large glass open doors, the tension began to come off on its own. The carts were scarce, but Ethan got one in exchange for a coupon. The carts were scarce. Carts of what? The carts were scarce, but Ethan got them one in exchange for a coupon. I'm daring to read that again and again because I'm just trying to figure out what they mean. Hope gave him a thumbs up with not bad at all expression on her face. You have to pay for the shopping cart? Hope enthusiastically presented a huge, colorful, utterly ludicrous mug, and Ethan immediately agreed they had to buy it. They tried to find a pair for the mug, but a brooding supermarket employee said it was the last one. They were a little disappointed, but well, at least it was something. Looking for the mug was the thing that finally did the trick. Now they were huddled together looking for their favorite treats and arguing about which breakfast cereals are the best. That's how it was until they reached the meat department. I'll go pick something out before it's all cleared. Hope nodded absently. She was stuck at one of the big fridges in the middle of the hall.
いいわよ。ここで待ってるね。
Okay, I'll be waiting for you here. The meat shelves were half empty, as usual at this hour. Ethan was hoping to find a steak or some minced meat. However, he soon forgot about both. Hello there. It's good to see you here. There was a girl standing by one of the shelves. Ethan couldn't see her face, only her pale back under a white dress with thin straps, and also her disheveled dark hair. Ethan's cheek was stung with cold as if his face was lying on the shelf in one of those refrigerated display cases. Just between the pork ribs and a lone ribeye in a black foam tray. Is that her? Ethan took a few uncertain steps forward. Then he backed away, almost knocking over a nice old lady. He couldn't even muster an apology, grabbed the first thing that came to hand, and turned around. The nearest row of shelves, backed out of there real quick. He tried not to run, because it would have looked too stupid, Ethan explained to himself as he reached the end of the row and peered around the corner. The girl was still picking out meat. Isn't what you're doing now stupid too? For sure it is, Ethan agreed with himself. The coal no longer burned his cheek, and the girl seemed quite ordinary, except she was dressed too lightly for the current weather, but that was still not considered a crime in any of the states. You're in the United States? I mean, it's an odd thing you should say that because you spoke Japanese. Or they spoke Japanese. Or is it all just in our heads? Ethan smiled to his own thoughts. Generally speaking, the girl was rather attractive and her light clothing allowed one to fully appreciate it. What, the body? A thin waist, passing into a seductive curve on the lips, and beneath the fold of white fabric one could make out her rounded. Why? That's such a weird... I mean, it could be more subtle. I reckon if it was more subtle, it would be a much better reading experience. But I'm not saying that word because it feels too crude. After everything you've said thus far, it feels way too crude. Then? What? I was asking broccoli or Brussels sprouts? Brussels sprouts. Hope stood still with two colorful plastic bags in her hands, looking at Ethan questioningly. He blinked several times, squinting as if he had just stepped into the bright light from a darkened room. When did he get back to Hope? Why was he holding a bottle of Thousand Islands dressing? I don't know. He was a little dizzy. Are you alright? Yeah, I'm alright. Yeah, never mind. I'm sorry, I was just lost in thought. Hope tried not to look in the direction Ethan had been focusing on for so long. She really tried, but sometimes trying isn't enough no matter how much effort you put in. At that very moment, the dark-haired girl's light white dress was floating away from the meat shelves. She must have finally made a choice, and you must follow. I see. For a moment, Ethan thought both colorful... What? Oh, Ethan thought that both the colorful plastic bags were about to slap him in the face. But Hope just smiled and tossed the bags into the cart. Ethan heard them crunch loudly as they hit the bottom. Well, let's take both. Variety is the spice of life. Just like having two waifus. They haven't bought any zucchini. Oh no. That night he had another dream about the white room. The walls were still trembling softly in the cold light. Everything in the room, including the air, was oozing tension, anguish and anticipation of what was about to happen. And something was really about to happen, no doubt about it. Ethan suddenly realized he was looking at the room from an odd angle. He seemed to be standing on something, but he couldn't feel anything under his feet, no support. He tried to look down, but only saw the shimmering air. He had no legs, and nothing above the missing legs, as if he was not there, just a floating pair of eyes. Or rather, he was, the shimmering air, the chipped ceiling, and the walls that were still trembling. He was the red sofa, standing a little away from the center, and a couple of unremarkable white doors on opposite walls of the room that were not there the last time. He was the red sofa standing. He was standing on the red sofa. Forget it, I'm not even gonna try. And that should not have been there. Nothing can be done about it right now. The doors have appeared and there's nothing that can be done about it now. Hello? The light grew dim, now pulsating noticeably. It was still emanating from the room in its entirety, reflecting from the white walls, but most of all, from the twin bra? What? From the twin bra on the wall between the two doors that were not supposed to be? Doors have bras? What? Nani? What am I experiencing? What am I reading? Am I having a stroke? Am I seeing things wrong? Whatever. For some reason, Ethan tried to catch the rhythm of the light with his breath, yet he couldn't. Catch the rhythm of the light with his breath? What? You mean match the rhythm of the light with his breath? But why would you do that? I mean, if I saw a pulsating light, what I would do is blink and try and match the rhythm of the pulsating light with my blinking, because that's funny. So it looks and it feels like the lights are always on. Anyway, there were two figures, sitting on the sofa. One fair, the other dark. The dark one came into the room through one of the doors, but Ethan couldn't guess which one. Okay, so we're like in a lucid state, a state where like we're not fully... Well, how do I say? We're like drugged almost. The fair one was Hope, and the dark one? Hello? Hope, what are you doing here? You can't be here. You have to leave right now or something will happen. The pulse of light became faster. The dark one moved towards Hope and tucked a blonde strand behind her ear. Everything was happening very slowly, as if underwater. There was something odd about the dark one. Something about her was wrong, but Ethan couldn't guess what. She leaned towards Hope's ear and covered her mouth with her hand, and Hope leaned towards her and listened very carefully, as if they had a mutual secret among themselves. Something was about to happen. They both looked at Ethan, even though Ethan wasn't there. Here. Or anywhere. Or rather, he was nowhere, because no white room ever existed. Then one of them smiled. Well, this picture is showing that both of them are smiling, and for some reason they have blurred out Hope's eyes. The dark one's fingers slid down Hope's chin. A soft, rounded line. They were no longer looking at Ethan, only at each other, very closely, and they were slowly inhaling the light. What? Okay. The dark one stroked Hope's cheek, and there was no light left between their ajar lips as they collided. Ugh. Do I really want to read that? I'm not reading that. The dark one licked... Ugh. For a long black Alright, no, fuck it, I think I can read this. The dark one licked her lips and raised her tongue to make space for a long black snake as it got out of her mouth. The snake swayed, tasted the air with its own tongue, then reached out to Hope. Hope closed her eyes. Now the snake was stroking her cheek. Wait, what? Alright, I'm not reading that just in case I get in trouble. I think. Sorry, I'm just reading this in advance in case I suddenly read something really not good. No, I think I can read this. Hope reached for the band that covered her eyes, and the dark girl reached for her hand, and their fingers intertwined and the lights between their lips melted, as it always happens at sunset. Yet there was no snake. It was just a black ribbon, a poisonous ribbon, covered in scales. The pulse of the room became faster. One of the lamps came into an eclipse. She has a number of faces, that's a clue. The bodies of two girls merged on the sofa, and his own flesh was shaking and shrieking. His own flesh? But you don't have flesh, because you're not there. And you don't have a body. Whatever. Ligaments, valves, bones, vessels in place where they came very close to their shabby red upholstery. Valves? You know, valves are very small. Yeah, I'll say it. They're small and they're in like blood vessels and then like the aorta and stuff like that. To have valves specifically on a sofa and you can see that from where you're standing, that's pretty big valves. And you have to be able to see inside the vessels for that. Anyway. His heart rate became faster. 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 Harder, better, faster, stronger. More than ever, power, blah blah blah. Okay, whatever. And then something happened. Ethan woke up. His breath was bubbling in his throat. The ceiling above him was flaring with immeasurable darkness, and down below his stomach he felt a searing heat. The heat was so intense Ethan had to sneak into the bathroom, and as this old man used to say, "Oh, I'm not saying that. Screw that. Only I can say it. I'm not reading what other people have to say about the same thing I normally say, but no. Fuck no." Haha, he went twice. Oh my fucking god. Okay, whatever. After that, Ethan loomed over the sink and was looking at himself in a small rectangular mirror for quite a while, having that post-you-know-what clarity. At some point, his lips started trembling. Ethan did not want to see where this was going. He spat into the sink, let the water in for a while, then he turned the lights off. What was the point of all that? Something changed. Alright, I'm gonna have to end that one here. My name's Mayhemstar. And bye-bye. Bye.